What's up, everyone? So today I just wanted to share an interesting finding with all of you. So if you've been watching my channel, you'll see that I'm converting a KLS 250SF dirt bike to electric, and I've had some issues. The motor that I had on that bike overheated, and that pretty much put my project to a standstill. So I ordered a new motor, but I pulled the old motor and I just wanted to see, kind of check it out, maybe pull it apart, see what happened. And I started pulling some of these phase lines off, and one of the phase wires, in addition to just the motor burning out itself, the phase wire itself heated up extremely and basically started a fire. So I got pretty lucky here. But having looked into this, I found some very interesting results. So if I were to take a multimeter and check continuity between these phases, they're all basically connected. In other words, the motor is completely shorted internally. So one of the reasons why this may be the case is a mistake that I made, something that I overlooked on my part. And that's definitely something that I want to bring to your attention. So I shortened these phase wires. I have another video. What I did was I simply cut the wire and then I crimped on this connector. But one major oversight on my part, and I have to credit this to one of the commenters on my other videos. I'll put his channel up in the description. That I completely overlooked the fact that these phase wires are covered in enamel, which is an insulator. So if I were to check continuity, let's say from here to here, I would get nothing. What I did was crimp this terminal directly onto the enamel, which wouldn't even be much different than crimping on top of like a fully insulated wire. So in terms of an electrical connection, it's only like the very ends where I cut, where they touch some little portion of the terminals, that you actually get a good electrical connection. And that results in a ton of resistance because you have very little surface area where the actual electrical connection happens. So that, in addition to other things, most likely contributed to a lot of heat buildup and essentially almost causing a fire. But that's not actually what I wanted to share with you in full. Because now my thinking was, oh man, if I do this again, I would have to remove the enamel coating. That way I can crimp onto pure copper and I'll have a nice solid electrical connection. But that's not the point of this video, really. The point of the video is that my thinking was, well, if I crimped directly onto the enamel, I should probably make sure that the manufacturer didn't crimp onto enamel, right? It would follow that the manufacturer would crimp onto a portion of this copper that's been cleaned from the enamel. So I wanted to check that. This is the original terminal that I cut off of here. I don't remember which one it was. Actually, I still have the original. What does that say? B, blue. So this would have been this one, the blue wire. So this is the original terminal. Why don't we go right now and take a look. Here is that terminal that I cut off, the original factory terminal. And here is a multimeter in continuity mode, right? So if I touch the two terminals, you'll hear a beep indicating that there's continuity. Obviously, if I touch the terminal itself, I get continuity. But now if I hold one of the probes to the terminal and one of the others to the copper, I get no continuity because it's insulated by the enamel coating. And that makes sense, right? If I hold it to the part where I cut it on the ends, you get some continuity whenever, the probe actually touches one of the cut off ends. Right there. So you get continuity when it's along the copper, but not along the wire itself because of the enamel. So the question is, if I were to remove this terminal, if I cut this off, which we're going to do in a second, and I pull these copper strands out, will this be crimped on top of enamel covered copper, or will this be crimped on top of clean, direct copper that doesn't have enamel? Because if it's the latter, all of this connection, all of this surface area where the crimp is happening on insulated copper, and it's only the very ends that are sort of touching some of the terminals here that's allowing electricity to flow through this wire. So let's go ahead and cut this terminal off and we'll take a look. So I've cut this terminal down its length. So we should be able to pull these strands out. I'm actually going to just tape these up a little bit so that they don't fly apart as soon as we take them out. So that should be good enough. And let's see, just be able to raise this up. Okay. And then we can remove that stack of wires. So here's the terminal. And here is that stack of wires that we had underneath. But what we would have expected is for this section of copper to be somehow different from this section of copper, namely that the enamel was wiped off. Just visually speaking, I would not say that this is the case. I think this copper looks about the same visually, but let's test it with continuity. So here is the multimeter in continuity mode, and if I touch them together, you can hear continuity. Obviously, here it is on the terminal. And now the moment of truth. Do we get continuity? Well, we know this part is covered in enamel, so we shouldn't test it, but we should get some continuity on the ends here if we touch it to this side. So do we get any continuity? Nothing. Nothing. Obviously nothing there. Nothing on the ends. So the only continuity that we should get is from the piece that was cut over here from end to end. And we can hear that. So the cross sections of these strands are obviously cut and has the bare copper exposed. That's why when we touch the ends, we can get continuity. But the whole point of having a terminal like this, especially a long barrel terminal, is to increase the surface area that this is being contacted with, right? You want this entire surface area to be contacting directly to the copper. So the current transfers, has the most surface area to transfer from your terminal to your copper. And clearly, these terminals are simply and directly crimped to the enamel-coated copper, which is insulated from transferring any current. So the only current transfer that happens is from these cross-sectional cut ends that are kind of like maybe pushed up against the front of this terminal. So an extremely inefficient transfer of current. I made the same mistake on my own, but you would think that when these motors come factory from AliExpress, they wouldn't have made this mistake. Basically, you have to remove the section where you're going to be crimping the terminal. The enamel from that section has to be removed somehow, whether that's chemically or, using an abrasive or something like that. There are several options to do it, but it's pretty clear that they did not do that. This is just an egregious degree of negligence and poor quality control. I mean, I can't believe they would actually ship these motors in this condition. I think in my personal situation, there were other things involved that caused this motor to overheat. But just generally speaking, you can't expect there to be so little surface area of contact between the phase wires and the terminals, especially when these phase wires are carrying hundreds of amps. In this specific case, it's about 530 amps of current that they would be carrying, and they have to pass all of that current through the contact area on these cross sections. It's just crazy. Or maybe I'm just making a really big mistake and this isn't an issue at all, and I don't really know what I'm talking about. So if you think that I'm missing something here, please leave a comment and let me know that I'm an idiot. But logic would show that if you're crimping these long barrel terminals onto this copper, you at least want the greatest surface area of contact between the copper and the terminal. And here, you simply do not have it. So that's what I have to say for today in this video. So thanks so much for watching. I hope this was helpful to you. And I'll definitely post another video, another update once I have a new motor on the bike and hopefully get this project back underway. In the meantime, I'm going to look at ways to remove this enamel efficiently, maybe with some kind of solvent, and redo the crimping on them next time. All right, thanks a lot for watching. See you later.